finally we have the first prototypes. I can't believe how jaw-droppingly good the work is and how exciting it is, but also now getting to have like the benefit of hindsight and looking at the...
There is a machine sitting in a room in San Francisco. Almost nobody has seen it. The man who designed the iPhone built it, and Apple has just asked a federal judge to make sure you never do. Apple's lawyers use the words irreparable harm. 2 days later, OpenAI answered in 31 pages. It called Apple's case rotten to its core. The judge rules in October. Here is what both sides are really fighting over. To understand why Apple is this angry, start with one designer. Jony Ive spent nearly 30 years inside Apple. He drew the iMac, the iPod, the iPhone. He left in 2019. For years, nobody knew what he was working on. Then in 2025, OpenAI bought his company. The price was about $6.5 billion. OpenAI did not buy a product. There was no product. It bought him and the people around him. And when Ive announced the new company, he read out the names of the people he had brought with him.
With Scott Cannon, Evans Hankey, and Tang Tan, who are the most extraordinary engineers. They have built a team of...
Tang Tan. Hold on to that name. Apple's lawyers have. Because everything Ive learned, he learned at Apple, and so did the men who followed him out the door. But there is another line, and this one is the reason Cupertino stopped sleeping. Altman describing the phone call he got about the first device.
Imagination.
You know, Jony called one day and said, this is the best work our team has ever done.
Yeah.
I mean, Jony did the iPhone. Jony did the MacBook Pro. I mean, these are like the defining ways people use technology. It's hard to beat those things. Those are really wonderful.
Jony recently gave me one of the prototypes of the device for the first time to take home, and I've been able to live with it.
And I think it is the coolest piece of technology that the world will have ever seen.
The man who made the iPhone thinks this is better than the iPhone. Apple sells over 200 million iPhones a year. That one sentence is a threat to all of them. So Apple went to court in San Jose and named names. 2 former employees sit at the center of the complaint. Tang Tan ran product design for the iPhone and the Apple Watch. Today, he is OpenAI's chief hardware officer. Apple's claim is not that they left. People leave. Apple's claim is what left with them. Design files, component specifications. Supplier terms. The unglamorous paperwork that makes hardware possible. And on the 4th of August, Apple said the problem is bigger than 2 people. Its lawyers told the court that more former employees may have taken confidential data with them. That is a very deliberate sentence. It turns one case into an open investigation. Then Apple did the thing that made this front page news. It asked for a preliminary injunction. In plain language, a court order now, before any trial. Apple asked the judge to stop OpenAI from using or even holding what Apple says is its property, to preserve every piece of evidence, to let Apple's own experts forensically inspect OpenAI's devices and accounts. Think about what that last one means. Apple's experts inside OpenAI's machines. The legal word for why they can ask this is irreparable harm. Damage money cannot fix later. On television, Jim Cramer summed the moment up in 2 words. OpenAI did not respond quietly. It responded in public first. It published a post with a title that left no room for interpretation. Apple is getting this wrong. The next day came the legal filing. 31 pages asking the judge to throw the whole case out, and then the line that everyone quoted. OpenAI borrowed Apple's own phrase and turned it around. Apple's complaint, they wrote, is rotten to its core. But the sharper cut came next, and it was not about law at all. OpenAI told the court, Apple is suing to make up for its own failures, its failures to keep its own people, and its failures to put AI into its own products. That is a competitor saying the quiet thing in a legal document where it stays on the record forever. And on the central accusation, OpenAI's answer is flat. It says it has no use, no need, and no desire for Apple's secrets. As for the recruiting, OpenAI says its hardware chief interviewed Apple engineers the way the entire industry does. So one side says theft, the other says hiring. Same events, 2 stories, which brings us back to the thing at the center of all of it, the device nobody outside has touched. Here is what has actually been said out loud about it. It has no screen. It is meant to fit in a pocket. OpenAI describes it as a 3rd core device next to your phone and your laptop. Reports say it is aware of what is around it, using cameras and microphones rather than a display you stare at. The manufacturing numbers are where it stops sounding like a side project. Foxconn, the company that builds the iPhone, is reported to be preparing 40 to 50 million units. OpenAI has said it wants to reach 100 million devices faster than any company has ever shipped 100 million of anything. The company has pointed at the second half of 2026 for the debut. That is now. Ive, for his part, does not talk about it like a gadget.
Active society.
I am absolutely certain that we are literally on the brink of a new generation of technology that can make us our better self.
A new generation of technology. That phrase is exactly what Apple's lawyers are trying to freeze. So, where does this actually stand right now? OpenAI's formal answer to the injunction was due on the 17th of August. The judge hears arguments on the motion to dismiss on the 1st of October. Two outcomes, and they are not close to each other. If the judge grants Apple's order, OpenAI's hardware team works under supervision, with Apple's experts reading its files. A device that was already racing a deadline would start slipping. If the judge throws the case out, Apple has spent months and its reputation telling the world its own engineers are the ones worth stealing. And here is the uncomfortable part, whichever way it lands. Apple has not lost a case yet. It has lost the people. The head of iPhone design already sits at the other company. No court order can bring back 30 years of taste. That is the argument OpenAI made, stripped of legal language. You are not suing because we stole. You are suing because we hired. Somewhere in a locked room, the prototype Altman, called jaw-dropping, is sitting on a bench. One company wants to ship it to 100 million people. The other wants a judge to touch it first. We find out in October. Subscribe, and we will open the filing the day it lands.